When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Boy, am I excited for this.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. Laura's here.
But I'm not the star today.
No, you are not the star today. And actually, I think it'll be a good conversation because it's coming off of when we had Mercedes Vasquez Simmons on.
That's how this all got brought up.
Yes, which you said you liked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
She was great.
Very, very impressed with how all that went.
Very diverse.
Yeah, and a lot of interesting things came out of there that I think are. I think when you were here, were you here when we did the rich and trashy? Yeah. Yeah. Right. And I said taking government money. If you're poor, it's trashy. If you're rich, it's classy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think that when you heard her say, my mother would never take government money. It's interesting because, you know, I'm sure it was needed, but she didn't do it because there was the stigma to it.
When she said that her mom handed out $5 for every A for kids, I was just like, damn, what a awesome way to like
incentivize kids.
Yeah.
Right.
And to, you know, be like a community leader because you know that everyone's going to respect you. Kids are going to look up to you then.
Just for anybody who didn't listen to that episode, Mercedes Vasquez Simmons is running for New York State Assembly. She kind of fell into the legislature. And what was interesting to me was like I would see her stuff pop up on my Billified Facebook page, and there was boxing stuff. She's standing with Sugar Ray Leonard and all this. I'm like, who is this woman? Yeah. And then it turns out she's a boxing promoter. So I called, and the podcast didn't go the way I thought it would. You know, we talked a lot about kids and things, and there was a point that she said something that has stuck in my head ever since. She talked about kids, real kids, right here in Monroe County, and I think this could apply to any big city in our country, maybe around the world, but definitely in our country. And they said, if I make it to 16. And when you think about that, it's not when I turn 16. Remember when you wanted to turn 16? Like you were all excited, you're going to get your car, your license, whatever it was a big deal. And I want to know, what are these kids actually thinking and what the hell is kind of missing? And Laura said, well, my boyfriend Joe works at that rec center.
He works at the Carter Street Rec Center.
And that's the one that Mercedes was talking about. Yeah. So I thought it was just interesting. And I thought, boy, Joe, you probably have some great insight to this. Oh, yeah. Because you're right on the front line, so to speak, with the kids. Yeah. Because I have often said, like, the answer, and I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I feel like the only way to combat so much stuff is building a kid's self-esteem. And when I say so much stuff, anybody seen this Instagram ad that's going around where it was like, it's little kids, and they're saying, wait, in the future, you can order food that comes right to you through this box? In the future, you just look at everything on this box? No. Wait, you can't. Yeah. It's like kids, it was like little kids in the 80s being told what's coming.
Okay.
Right. It's supposed to be a flashback. And it just shows you like that simpler time. And like one kid goes, wait, in the future, people just don't sit and stare at the stars? You know what I mean? And something to that effect. I should have found it for this. But the, with Mercedes saying all that stuff, and I say build self-esteem, I think the self-esteem sometimes can help combat all the influence. If you feel good about yourself, I don't need this other bullshit, but it's kids, right? And what looks cool and what's going on. So I feel like it's a buzzword, and I don't know how you necessarily build self-esteem in kids other than trying to incentivize them that winning feels good, or when you do well, it feels good, or when you work hard and there's a payoff, it feels good. But I'm just curious, because if I make it to 16, that hits as a real thing, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a strange thing. And then I'm just wondering, when you see these kids, what's something kids casually say that would kind of shock people who don't live in that world, who aren't around the Carter Center? I mean, do you hear things like this?
I mean, I don't hear stuff like that per se. I guess it's just more the language that kids use. An 8-year-old, the way he talks at my rec center is completely different than an 8-year-old that's Laura's kids, or the kids out here in the suburbs and stuff like that. So I don't hear anything directly the way you're saying it, but what I can say is, you're bringing up the age of 16. Our leagues that we run usually end at 15. So that 16, 17-year-old kid, if he's going the streets, he's going the streets. If he enjoys the rec center, we're making an impact on him, he stays at the rec center still. So it's a very interesting age where you do see kids choose.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I guess our impact is on the younger kids, hopefully changing them so when they turn 16, they stay with us or they get a job.
Right.
If we get those kids who are 15, 16 at the time, 9 times out of 10, they're already lost.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, because I'm thinking when you walk into the rec center, and if it's mostly younger kids, then I'm assuming.
The youngest we serve is I think I have a 5-year-old, and then it goes all the way up to 17. It's supposed to be high school.
Yeah.
But if we have some of our regular kids who've been there for a couple of years, we let them come in. I'd say you probably go up to like 22, 23, 24. We'll let you come in.
What's the vibe when you go in there? Like, and by that I mean, are the kids guarded? Or is there kind of a hopefulness with them? Are they in survival mode? I mean, these are all.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, it's hit and miss. Everything's different. So the rec centers are come and go as you please. It's not a daycare facility. So when we get parents that drop their kids off, they literally think we're just going to watch their kids all day. Then we tell them that their kids are free to leave. They can leave whenever they want. So that scares parents at times, because it's like, I have a 7-year-old. I don't want my 7-year-old to just walk away.
Right.
We're not just going to let a 7-year-old walk away. But technically speaking, he could.
Yeah.
The other thing that a lot of parents and the public sees, and they worry about it sometimes, is that huge age gap. At one point you can see a 6-year-old, and then you see the 19, 20-year-old. It's a big brother, big sister program.
Okay.
Little brother, little sister. Yeah, whatever I'm trying to say.
Right.
It's that. So, and that's like the most beautiful thing I've seen, and I've been there 11, 12 years now. It's just cool to see that 14, 15-year-old look after the 6 and 7-year-old. So it's a family. That's what I would say.
Yeah. I mean, that's, to me, that's pretty cool. I guess the thing that I hear, and I don't know if you hear the same thing, Laura, when a kid says, if I make it to 16, I feel like they feel as though they don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. I do these kids believe that they actually
their
matter?
Own value,
yeah.
Or just from, I think it's also from what they see of their peers. So if, I know Joe has said that he has had a lot of kids come through that, eventually he does lose to gun violence, or even with the Kia boys, he knows a lot of them because they came through his program, and he's like, we thought we were going to save them, but then we couldn't. So it's, if you have that as a older sibling or a family member that you looked up to, and then you see the violence happen or going, the wrong route, is that what you expect for yourself?
I could totally see that. I mean, I could see that. Do kids feel like that? I mean, it feels like you guys make them feel like they matter. The rec center sounds like it's pretty.
So what I was going to say is, when you were talking about incentivizing kids with money and stuff like that, what we do at the rec center is attention. Just giving kid attention is huge. It goes a long way. Just, hey, how was your day? Or joking with them. One of the biggest things is just literally just joking with kids all day. And that's one of the things Laura gets mad at me about, because I'm a joker. So I'll joke with Laura and stop picking on me. And it's like, this is the environment.
Teasing is his love language.
This is love. So at the rec center, teasing people is love. So
Laura likes teasing, just of a different kind.
Yeah.
So you? I mean, we know.
Yeah.
We've heard.
Knows.
We've heard. The whole world knows, Joe.
The whole world knows.
The whole world knows.
But yeah, I mean, Joe, I think that was one of the first things that when we met and I found out what he did for work and I got to see like his heart from that standpoint, it impressed me a lot, you know, knowing what he does. And one of the first days, I think that we were talking, our first few weeks, he had texted me. He's like, oh, it's this one kid's birthday today and he's homeless. So I want to make sure I stop and get him some things so that he feels special. And it was, you know.
Joe, how do you know, like, when a kid's homeless or what is the term now? Unhoused?
I mean.
Do they tell you?
Yeah. So in that situation, the child came in and he wore the same clothes for like 4 or 5 days in a row.
Okay.
They're dirty. They're smelly.
Yeah.
They're down on their luck. And, you just pull them aside. Hey, what's going on? And that's just part of having rapport and building a relationship with the youth. But yeah, I'll ask and they'll tell me.
Because this is where I think sometimes people see kids like acting out or whatever. And you hit the nail on the head when you said, at least in my mind, giving them attention, right? Because that shows them then that they matter, right? And it's important to talk to them. Because I think a lot of these kids, you'll hear they need structure, they need discipline, right? They need better homes, whatever it is. And when I keep coming back to the one thing, if a kid doesn't believe that they matter, then none of that lands. None of that means shit. And so to make them feel like they matter, I mean, that, I want to jump his bones. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see. No, I heard. But I think that it's an interesting something about kids. It's very important that they feel like they matter and they've got somebody in their corner that gives a shit. And it sounds like that's what the whole rec center does. You're there all day, every day?
2 to 9 during the school days. And then when the kids are off from school, we go to a day shift, usually 11 to 6. Same with the summer. Summer hours are generally 9 to 7. So yeah, I'm there 2 to 9. Schedule changes based on when kids are out of school and when they're not.
Yeah. What do you think most adults misunderstand about these kids?
I don't think it's that they misunderstand. They're just not present. And that's the huge thing. I guess if you don't know the kids, everybody just says, oh, they're city kids, and they label them or they stereotype them. You got to get to know the kids. The kids, if you give them the attention and you treat them, they're just like any other kid. Are they going to be a little rough? Yeah, they're in the city. They deal with bullshit that we don't deal with, in the suburbs or different places.
What do you think is some of that, like that bullshit when you say that? Because I agree with you. I'm just curious as to what you think that bullshit is.
I mean,
it's hard to learn in there. I mean,
you can go to school, you can go to the neighborhoods. When you're walking down the neighborhood and you just see rundown after rundown house, you see garbage. Like, where's the pride? You don't see nice. So it's just, that's what you're just used to. When you go to school and teachers can't do anything or reprimand the students or anything like that for cussing or misbehavior, you're packed in a class with 30 kids. How are you going to learn? I don't know. There was an interesting poem. I can't read the whole poem because I don't know off memory, but it was basically like a kid saying, like, I didn't do my homework last night because I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I didn't have food to eat. I didn't have electricity to do this. And my teacher was mad because I didn't do my homework. I didn't have a pencil. So it's like this teacher literally was mad that he didn't do his homework, but she has no clue what he's dealing with at home.
Right.
So it's like homework is the last of my worries.
Yeah. I think that, like, it's hard for teaching. They have systems, right? And they got to get so many kids through the state test, and you've got to do this, and there's all, there's money involved. There's money from the state or the money from the federal government if we don't reach these standards. And so I think there's a lot of pressure on these teachers. And I don't know that they're attuned to the kid, who is where I say, like, meet the kid where the kid's at. Try to understand that this kid probably can't do his homework, so here's why. I used to always wonder why my father would not give homework. He taught in the inner city of Poughkeepsie, and in 6th grade. He wouldn't give homework for pretty much that same reason.
Really?
Well, yeah, because it was like you go back to I failed. So everything I do is I suck and I failed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know one thing that Joe talks about a lot, obviously being in Webster the past few years, is the parent involvement.
Right.
And because last week I had the boys' parent-teacher conferences, and Joe's explaining that even though his kids have parent-teacher conferences at their schools in the city, the parents don't show up.
Right.
Yeah, I can remember doing recruitment for the R centers. That's what we're called. There's, I think there's like 7 or 9 throughout the city of Rochester. And I was doing like an open house. So it's not parent-teacher conference, but like an open house. You think a lot of parents are going to come and whatnot. I'm sitting in a gym for 2 hours and I speak to 4 people. And it's like there's literally no parent involvement, be it that the parents just don't care and they can't, or, they have to work 1 or 2 jobs, and there's just no presence there. So it's a different life.
It is a different life, and it's a different life just a couple miles away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that always kind of surprises me. And yet at the same time, like when I hear the kids say, if I make it to 16, I don't know if that's fear. I don't know if that's just their environment, if it's a learned statement because they see other kids have said it or they know somebody who didn't.
Well, I mean, you hear about the violence, and he's had violence. He had last week, there were 2 girls that were threatening to fight each other.
So I would say at least once a month, maybe once every 2 months, there's always an incident where it's like, all right, are we calling the cops, or are we handling this ourselves with security? And the crazy part is at least at my rec center, when we get girls that come to the rec center that are between the ages like 12 and 16, 12 and 17, and they're unfamiliar faces, we already know something's going down. So all the staff are on alert. We're walking around. And, the story Laura's explaining was literally this past Friday night. I had a group of girls come in, and they're hanging out in the game room. They're mean mugging another girl. So I'm just keeping an eye on it, just make sure everything's good. And by the end of the night, the group of girls say something to the one girl. Now the one girl wants to fight 6 of them. I got a stepdad coming in, dragging the one girl out. And it's just like, oh my God, here we go. Summer didn't even start yet. But it just, when it's wintertime, it almost feels like, I don't want to say bad kids, but it feels like all the troublesome kids or the troublesome people, they're staying home. It's cold. At the rec center, that family environment that I'm talking about, the kids want to be there. So they're coming if it's raining, if it's snowing, they're going to be there. Because not only do they want to be there, but they need to be there. They don't have food. We serve food on a daily basis. We provide, a hot meal. And that might be the only hot meal that kid gets. That being said, too, with Laura's organizing thing, she gets a lot of stuff, and I bring it to the rec center, shoes and clothes. And
Do they need that? I mean, do they need that? But so I'm like cleaning out my closet. I'm going to drop all this stuff off at Goodwill, but should it go to the rec center? A lot of it's like workout stuff. Because I ballooned up and I'm trying to balloon back down, but I'm never going to fucking wear these things again.
It's kid sizes and it's shoes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, shoes are definitely a staple.
Yeah. Joe will talk constantly. He'll look at like Lucas's shoes and he'll be like, Lucas, are you wearing these anymore? Like, I have a kid who needs a pair of shoes, and we're just like, take them, because he'll have kids come in the winter wearing Crocs that are 2 sizes too big because they're wearing their parents' shoes.
See, I don't mean to interrupt, but no, I don't want to lose track of my thought. I'm interrupting.
Okay.
What I was going to say too is, while we're talking about this, I've interviewed for a couple of suburban rec center jobs. And it's funny what we're talking about when I share this to, directors and stuff in the suburbs, they have no clue. The suburbs, you can literally focus on recreation. A kid can come, you can run a program and the whole 9 yards. But when I got kids coming that, hey, Joe, I haven't had food today, or I need I need this. Do you have that? We're providing basic needs. So it's not just recreation. It's literally basic needs. When kids come and they don't have a coat, you know, and it's 10 degrees outside, are we going to let that kid walk home? No, we're not going to let him walk home. Are we supposed to drive him home? No, but get in my damn car. I'm going to bring you home. And we'll find a coat for him. So it goes back to the family thing. So it stinks that when I go in to these interviews and I talk, it's not about recreation. It's just about being an important person in these kids' lives.
Why? What makes you stay?
What makes me stay?
Yeah, because I mean, I would assume if you've interviewed other places, you probably stand out as a candidate. I would think.
I think I got a negative attitude sometimes, and I spend too much time in interviewing griping about what the background of the recreation department in the city. But the kids make me stay. I tell everybody, if I work 10 days, 8 of them suck. But 2 of those days is beautiful, and it's worth it. So
what makes it beautiful? Like you feel like, well, I don't.
So I never had any kids of my own, and I grew up in the rec centers as a kid. The rec centers were very important to me. I started volunteering at one, then I started working. So like, for instance, I guess one of my favorite stories is I had a kid and we were softball practice and he was 8 or 9 years old, little kid, didn't really play a lot of sports. And the very first practice, he got a black eye, you know, trying to catch pop-ups or whatever, got hit with a ball. And then fast forward a month and a half later, we're a couple practices in, 4 or 5 games, he catches that pop fly. He just smiles. He just looks at it. He goes, Mr. Joe, I caught it.
Yep.
And it's just like, wow, you know, like I did that.
Yep.
Or so it's just knowing that I have an impact on somebody's life. And
building that confidence and stuff. Yeah. And the impact. Yeah, I agree. But you're building confidence. I mean, I always think like, how do you build self-esteem, or the answer is self-esteem. It sounds like a poster in a guidance counselor's office, but it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing is, you know, to make that catch. I'll always say, and I think one of the great things you can say to kids is, you did that.
Yeah.
Right. You did that, because it's a self-esteem builder in a way, and it reminds them that they did it. Right. You showed them how, but they actually did it. And I think that that's like a really important concept, because I think that, you know, it just sounds like one of the things that Rec Center provides, and maybe you in particular, is consistency, attention, right? I know I go in there, I'm going to see my favorite people. I'm going to feel safe. I feel like I matter there. You know what I mean? Those are all really, really important things. And it's so funny because you go, well, yeah, of course you matter. But if you never felt it, if you don't feel like it, right? I always think one of the most important things you could do for your kids is feed them. Like make them breakfast, even if it's, you know, boiled eggs and an apple. I don't care if you have to go to a food pantry to get the food to do it. You need to do that, because there is such an important thing. They need to know they can count on you. And when they don't, and when they can't, it's an open, you know, it's open season on whatever. So I mean, you've seen kids change and stuff. Is there? I hesitate to ask this, but I will. What's the funniest thing a kid ever said to you that you absolutely could not?
I couldn't believe it.
Repeat in a staff meeting.
I would repeat in a staff meeting. We would talk about it all the time. I guess one of the standout stories, like I was telling Laura, you know, picking on people is a love language at the rec center. So drilling somebody or making fun of somebody, that's just love language. So I had a kid. He was actually the kid that was homeless a couple years ago. I did lose him to the streets, unfortunately. He pops by here and there. But we were sitting at a table, and, you know, I'm bald-headed and whatnot. So he told me I looked like a cracker. So he was 8 or 9 at the time. May have been a little bit older, and the rest of the table was just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Can't say. So I looked at him, and I said, I don't want to use his name, but I laughed because it was innocent. He had no idea.
Yeah. What kind of cracker do I look like?
No, I just looked at him. I go, listen, I understand, you know, you're just joking around, but like, you can't say that. And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, well, if I said you look like a monkey, dude, like, it's just, you can't do that. So he laughed, and it was just a funny story, but it is what it is, man. You just got to lighten up about things.
Yeah. Are they roasting you constantly, these kids?
I get roasted all the time for being bald-headed. So like my latest thing, especially I go back to the kid that's like 13, 14, 15. Hey, Mr. Joe, you're bald-headed. And I go, well, your mom likes it. And they're like, oh. So there's a couple kids.
Hey, I want to go down there and play. Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, well, look, if they're open to playing and stuff like that, I mean, it makes it makes them feel like they matter. Because I think everybody, like, when they hear things and I think one of the biggest mistakes we do sometimes is throw money at a situation. And what? Why did you laugh?
I'm just thinking.
Why are you laughing?
Because, like, Joe will sometimes be like, if I've tried to do like a big gesture to the rec center, Joe's like, the kids don't need that. Just bake them cookies. Like, do something simple,
right,
because they will appreciate that more,
right.
Well,
what I was saying is sometimes, like, through government funding or whatever, we throw a lot of money at a situation, but the situation never gets better. And I think a lot of times it's because we're spending somebody else's money. Like, you know what I mean? I now see why my parents wanted me to pay my car insurance when I first got my car at 16, because it's your skin in the game. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes there isn't that stuff. And that's where, when you see misappropriation of funds, or all of a sudden somebody's doing something, I go, I'm not sure we can actually blame the person. And I know that sounds terrible, but for example, that Minneapolis daycare, they were told, if your kid has autism or something, it's $2,000. And they're going, hey, does your kid write the number 5 backwards? Could you use an extra $2,000? I'm like, how do you not do that to try to help your community out? You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't the right way. It wasn't the way the money should be used, but we just throw money out there with no guardrails on it. And then we get pissed off. And it's like, oh, hold on a second.
He'll talk about like getting funding programming, or somebody comes in through the city that tries to show the kids something, and he's like, this is not what these kids need. I'm trying to think of like a specific, but what
I don't know.
Well, but like, I would say from my perspective, one of the coolest things has been when we will be out and about in a Rochester setting and have kids who came through his rec center 5 years later and be like, oh my God, Joe. And then they'll come up and they're so excited to see him, and they will talk to me because he'll introduce me and the boys, and they will be like, he was the best person ever. Like, he saved us. I had a client the other week in the city, and her 22-year-old niece showed up and randomly started talking about Carter Street. I was like, my boyfriend works at Carter Street, Joe Reed. She's like, are you kidding me? It's just to see the impact that this man has truly on our community has blown me away over the past few years.
I can't imagine that you would want to leave that necessarily. I mean, I don't know.
I have one reason why, but I'm not going to talk about that on the air.
Yep.
But oftentimes, I don't mean to segue, but I'll segue a little bit. The only other thing that I thought about doing potentially, and still living in the city and working with the city, is becoming a cop. That's what I went to school for. I went to school for criminal justice. I wanted to be a police officer. I lived in the community. I know the people. Even at the rec center, when they raised the age to be a police officer, I still went back and forth because I think I'd make a great cop. What you see, especially in the city, is you see a lot of cops that aren't from the community. They're a lot younger. They're not people. And I don't know. I think I just got enough swag, enough juice to just handle the situation.
Would you do it?
I would do if you could tell me that I wouldn't be stuck overnights my entire first year, or just working the crappy hours. Yeah, I would do it. If you say, hey, we'll give you your hours, I'd leave tomorrow. If you gave me hours and then like put me in a school setting, or one of the things, like the first thing I would do is I would visit the rec center. Now when cops come to the rec center, the kids scatter and they're like, oh my God. And it's like telling the kids, like, just because a cop's here doesn't mean it's negative. It could be a positive.
Yeah.
But the cops don't do that. So like, that is one of the hugest things that I would have made an effort to do.
That was something that Mercedes said, that there was a soccer game.
Yeah.
And at the last game, or the last whatever of the season, the officers showed up in their uniforms, and the kids didn't know they were police officers. And they were like, oh my God. And it just kind of, and I said, there was I forget the name of the program, but there were basketball leagues where the police were either coaches or played or whatever.
I think it was called PAL.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. And
they got away from it.
It was years ago. And that was something that, what's his name in Greece? John Wallace always talked about being part of that, and he went on to play for the Knicks. So it's those types of things that I don't know. I guess I'll ask you, like, for every adult listening, what is kind of one thing to do differently with kids?
I don't want to use the word attention again, but
I think that's it.
The one thing, it goes against everything in 2026, but we got to stop babying the youth. You got to give it to them direct, and you got to give it to them firm, and come back if it's too harsh. One of the things I do is, if somebody's messing up in my rec center or breaking a rule, I'll get my voice pretty loud and I'll correct them. And then if I see, like, if they shut down or if they do that, that's when I come back, and that's when you can be soft. That's one of the things, like, Laura has seen, just with my impact in her boys' lives, is I'm not going to baby you, and we got to stop babying people. I mean, we all grew up in this generation where we weren't babied. And now this generation, they just baby too many people. Yeah. I don't know if that answers the question, but
no, I get it. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking that, like, maybe it's not really about fixing the kids as much as it's more about helping them to grow up not believing they weren't worth fixing. So by correcting them, you're fixing them. You're fixing the situation by correcting them, whatever that is. And I think that when you grow up feeling like you don't matter or you weren't worth fixing,
well, I will say
that's a scary thing.
What I was going to say is, exactly what you just said, I should have brought up earlier. I don't do a great job at it as much as my other staff, and it's something I need to work on. But complimenting the kids, calling the parents saying, hey, he's been doing good for the last week and a half, month and a half. Or when the parents come in and you tell them the positive things, not just always focusing on the negative things, which is good, So like when I see a kid and it's like, hey man, you've been doing good, and that just brings joy to them. They just want to be told, like you just said, So.
Yeah, I mean, I even with my own kid, I think at times has said to me, you never tell me I'm doing anything good. And I'm like, I'll start doing something good. No. No. I will to not, I guess, Joe, what you said where we are babying kids is the phrase you used. So my thing has always been more of, I don't say I'm proud of you. I say I'm proud for you. And I don't know why that makes a difference for me. Or I will say to each one of them, like even my oldest son, I got my partner to the ground twice in Taekwondo today, and he's a belt above me. And I'll write back and go, that had to feel great, right? To recognize, but I don't need to say I'm proud. You did it. Right? I have no interest in getting my ass thrown to a fucking mat in Taekwondo whatsoever. I don't want to get in a boxing ring. So, I mean, it's like, right. But I think that there is something there. And so, or if like Jameson, I'll come home, he'll come home or he'll text me. Even though he's not supposed to have the phone at school. I got 100 on this and I did something else. And I'll say to him, it's a lot of wins for a day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wins. That's got to make you feel great, proving that you can. You can. And remember, you got these resources. I don't know.
I'm going to take that.
I can't, look, the parenting, I have no idea. But I'm just trying to think and I'm older now, and you get a much different perspective on things. and you wish you had kind of had this perspective when my older sons were younger. Now they're 25 and 24. So, but I just think like sometimes I don't need to take credit for this. This is something you did, but to recognize it in a way that's that way. I just, when I hear that 16-year-old thing, that's the shit that's stuck in my head the most.
Yeah.
And I think it just sounds to me like I don't matter, or I don't know. Or is it fear? Is it real? Is it consistency? I have no idea. Well,
and like, I mean, I know he touched on it, losing kids to the streets, but right. He's opened up with me about how hard it is. And I remember last year, there was that Kia crash that killed the 91-year-old in Brighton. Yeah. And we read the names and Joe was like, that was one of my kids. Like,
it was crazy. That day, he literally graduated like a trade school, and he was in the back seat with a ghost gun. And he was he came into the R Center, and he was a troubled kid. He was there for about a year and a half. He was turning it around, and like I said, he did this job program, and then to hear that, it was like, damn, because he was just doing so much better.
Right, and the thing that sucks is, like, I'll often say, I don't know if it's a good thing to say or not, but there's not a whole lot you can do at 16, 17, 18 years old to fuck up your entire life, but that may be one of them.
Yeah.
When you're with a ghost gun or the serial number scratched off, and you're in the backseat of a car that just killed a 91-year-old man, we might have a problem here.
Yeah.
Because the other stuff is like, all right, we can, you can work through some of this other crap like that. Joe is also a ref. Have you ever been an umpire?
You talking about for baseball?
Yeah.
I did softball for a couple years. I never did baseball.
So
no longer a ref though. I retired.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
Well, you took a year off last year and then decided. So he wanted to take a year off because he's like, this is the first time I've had a family, and he had to be gone every single Saturday reffing and missed all of Lucas's football games. And him and Lucas are two peas in a pod. And so he
took
at
this, Joe.
A year off. And
look at this. Hey,
I'm not a bad guy.
I
never thought you were a bad guy.
When we were talking about switching jobs, he works nights.
Yeah.
The kids, every day when I pick them up for school, Mom, is Joe coming home early today? So he's, that's,
It's just,
it's tough.
Yeah, I get it. We'll take a short break. I want to ask you, though, because something happened, and I think it's, by the time people hear this, the actual event will be kind of old, but I think it's a conversation that's going to go on for a while. So we'll get to that right after this.
Sounds good.
When it comes to home improvement, you've got choices. Let's say there's a hole in the bedroom wall, and somehow nobody in the house knows how it got there. You could fix it. I mean, there's always YouTube, right? But 3 hours later, it's going to look like a patch job. Not even a good patch job. And how about that leak under the kitchen sink? Yeah, you said you'd get to it, and that was what? 2.5, 3 months ago? If we're being honest, we all have that list. The one where deep down, you're not totally sure you've got the skills to pull it off. If it's my list, I'm calling Mac of all trades. Holes in the wall, handled. Leaky sinks, done. Full kitchen remodel? Yeah, they got that too. And hey, warmer weather's coming. How's that deck looking? Need it extended? Rebuilt? Outdoor patio? Don't be a deckhead. Call Mac of all trades, 585-202-9218. That's 585-202-9218. And you can see all they do online at macofalltrades.net. They'll handle it, so you don't have to.
Do whatever the hell they want. We put our foot down.
So Joe's retired as a ref.
Oh, yeah.
Family man now.
Shit.
Well, there's something that's happening, and I really wanted to hear your take on this because the Reds beat the Red Sox 6-5, 11 innings. But the story wasn't really that. It was that the home plate umpire's name is C.B. Buckner. I believe C.B. Buckner may be in his 70s. C.B. Buckner had a brutal day behind the plate.
Okay.
Brutal day behind the plate. Buckner had 6 ball strike calls overturned by Major League Baseball's new automated ball strike challenge system. Okay. So, including back-to-back incorrect strike 3 calls. This guy was more like a suggestion box with legs that day than he was an umpire. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was. And overall, the teams went 6 for 8 in the challenges. I think the Reds were 5 out of 5 in their challenges, and then I think the Red Sox were 1 for 3 in theirs, including like a strike 3 call that triggered an ejection from Alex Cora, the Red Sox manager. So, we could all go bad umpire, but this to me wasn't about one bad umpire. What happens when technology starts grading human beings in real time, and what do we think of that in a way? Because there's a piece of me that goes, the human error. Who are you going to yell at? I like yelling at somebody. I want to blame you for a shitty call. You know what I mean? I want to blame you for a shitty call. Now I can't. It's a machine. The same way
you want to blame me for a shitty call is the same way I want to blame you for a shitty coach. So
yes,
I make a mistake as a referee. You've made plenty of mistakes as a coach. So
right.
Just yell at me.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, even as fans, we like that shit. Right. And that's where, like, I go, what happens when authority figures can be instantly corrected? Like, take that to, like, parenting or I don't care, teachers, whatever, you know? And it's like, man, because umpires, they weren't reviewable for a number of years. And I think they tested this first because the Red Wings had it, the minor league baseball. Yeah, they tried it in AAA. And does this make the game more fair? Or do you think it kind of chips away at respect? Or are we looking to just eliminate umpires altogether?
I mean, I think you still need them for a presence. I think technology is great to get the correct call in the field.
Sure.
I think you need both. I don't think you can just go straight to technology. You can't have robots on the field just calling stuff because you still got to have some human error. Everybody loves human error.
Well, that's kind of my thing too, and that's the thing. Like, can you imagine being fact checked in real time on shit when you're just?
It would be amazing and also so annoying.
Well, yes.
And you have your own opinion. So it's not always what you say. Not everything is false or correct. It's just sort of your opinion. But I guess in the sports, when there's money, when there's everything on the line.
Well, that's the problem now. It's so gambling that was fought by all these leagues or pretended to be fought by all these leagues. You know, and now they're making so much money off of it. They got to get the call correctly or
Absolutely.
correct. That's the part that I guess that it's almost ruined it. But do we want a flawless game? I mean, do we want a flawless game?
But then who do you have to blame?
I don't. Well, that's my point. It's like bad calls have always been part of sports today.
It depends on what the call is. I mean, let's just look at the sport of basketball. A player foul. Do I want to go to replay every time to see if it's a player foul? No, it is what it is. And then with that being said, every individual who calls a game is going to call the game different. Because, you know, sometimes you let stuff go, sometimes you don't. It just depends on what kind of referee you are.
Well, like if we erase human error, right? To me, you're erasing human moments. Like that's sort of the imperfection of the game. Like, you know, what the ESPN, I time myself in the morning by watching ESPN. So when they get to Get Up, which is on at 8:00, they could do 20 minutes on a bad call. Yeah. They could do 20 minutes.
Get Up every morning.
Oh,
yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, I like it. I think Greenberg does a great job.
I agree.
For a while, I was watching the NFL thing, and then I just kind of fell in, so that's become my daily habit. And I think they do a great job, but they would do, right? What was the call recently? I think it might have been it was in the World Baseball Classic. At the okay, that's okay. But either way, they did like 20 minutes on it, and I go, these shows stop existing.
Well, I mean, that's the issue in itself too. You look at 20 years ago, you didn't have the technology for replay and this and that and whatnot. So everybody was fine with human error. Now you're so quick to highlight a call and you can show it from 40 different angles, and then you can make it so egregious that that's all people want to talk about. 20 years ago, you went to a baseball game. How many people actually knew it was a strike and it was a ball? Maybe the people behind home plate.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. And now, right. And now you can see, and we slow it down, and there's cameras everywhere. And I mean, I guess part of that too, if it's not automated in a way, it gives us stuff as fans to argue. It was right there, the ball. Blah, blah. But I go, people worry about AI replacing them, right? Replacing certain jobs and things. And I go, well, I think it does start out by helping.
Yeah.
Right now we're just assisting. And then, slowly, it goes away. And that's why, to me, this is like a bigger conversation. It's not about the umpire. It's about every job that people are doing it. And I don't know.
It is funny at like Lucas's basketball games this season.
Yeah.
Joe would be like, oh, this ref is not calling anything today. Or he just comments. I think sometimes you even do it to yourself, but I hear it about, oh, that was a bad call. That should have been a call. This should have been a call. And the other parents, everyone's gotten to know Joe, all my parent friends, they will look at Joe sometimes for a call, especially at football, like when Lucas's team is playing another team, and he'll be like, no, Lucas stepped out of line. Like, that should not, it's not that he always sides with Lucas's team, but they all respect his calls.
Would you coach?
Because even there isn't.
Would I coach? No, I don't want to coach.
No?
I mean, I coach for work, just because it's,
it's there.
Basic, it's there. But outside, no, I'm not a head coach. I could be like an assistant coach or like a helping coach, but a head coach, no, I don't have an interest.
You could be, I bet the kids would love it.
Lucas has asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
my hours.
Well, your
Exactly.
hours, it does sound like your hours are bad. Yeah.
The hours are bad for family life.
Right.
And that was one of the, I'm a little off topic or whatnot, but that was one of the things I told Laura when I first met her. I can't have a relationship with somebody with kids because my work hours suck. It's not fair to you. It's not that, I looked at Laura different from having kids. It was like, you got 2 kids. I'm not going to be around. And that's the tough part. But like, I take personal time. I take vacation. I take sick days. So I'm there. I'm there as best I can. But it's about the quality of time too. It's not just being there. Just make time for it.
Mm. Wow. Where'd you find this guy?
Drunk at a bar.
See, that's where the best love starts, man. I gotta tell you, a little alcohol, you can find the right people.
I mean, I think neither of us expected anything. And then it just happened very quickly. So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, it was New Year's Eve when we met. We were out with different groups of people, and one of my friends is married to someone who also refs college football and refed with Joe. And Joe went up to him and was like, hey, Dave, who's your blonde friend? And Dave said, don't waste your time.
Wow. Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, don't waste your time. Yeah. What is that? That's a challenge, buddy.
It wasn't that it was a challenge. It was, you guys probably had plenty of podcasts about Laura and her past and whatnot. Laura was having fun.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Laura was having fun.
I do not know what you're talking about, Joe. I take great offense to that.
I'm
teasing.
Sure.
I'm teasing.
Absolutely.
I'm teasing.
But no, Laura was having fun. Laura wasn't really looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for a relationship. It's just, hey, we'll go hang out. We'll go to live music together and, whatever happens, happens. And it just blossomed into a relationship.
Yeah, that's pretty good. See, that's something
joke at that.
AI
We're
can't
like
do.
that stupid epitome of like things happen when you least expect it.
Sure.
Like neither of us.
Yeah.
He was like, because I was like, oh, I don't do relationships. I'm happily single. And he was like, I would never date a single mom, just my hours. And we hung out a couple of times just at sort of group outings, and just immediate.
Who called who?
Oh God!
After the first.
Oh, we'll let him tell the story.
So I mean,
it's funny.
It was New Year's, and I went home. She stayed there.
We didn't even kiss. We were dancing.
Yeah.
And we exchanged numbers.
So I went home. I'm drunk. I'm horny. I'm showing her pictures of my dog. I'm showing her pictures of pizza. I'm trying to get laid. I was trying to get her to come over.
Wow.
And, it didn't happen. And,
if you had another word that began with D on your camera.
What? You lost me. I know he's trying to say.
Sending
dick,
a picture.
Right? Oh, I would never send a picture.
No.
We know. 2.5 years later, I still
I don't think
one.
I wouldn't either. But
No, I'm
that's
not
just
doing
me.
that. But no, so I did all that. It didn't work. And then the next morning, I was like, that's not really me. I'm reading back through my text messages. So I apologized to her. I said, I was drunk. I'm sorry. It's not really how I am. But, I'd like to hang out, and go see some music. And because a lot of my friends, they don't like to go out and listen to music. And she seemed very passionate and enjoyed it. So I was like, why not? She was pretty. So I apologized to her and whatnot. We scheduled a date, and she gave me a second chance, and it just worked out.
Yeah.
What'd you go see?
What the hell?
We went and saw Dial Up.
Yeah.
Okay. The 90s band.
It was funny because I was out with some of the gym group.
Yeah.
And it was me and Jamie.
Yep.
And we met up with him. And Jamie the next morning goes, "You're going to marry that man." And I go, "I'm not even going to date him." And she could just tell from that night. It was just the three of us that went and saw them, and we're hanging out.
Look at this.
Yeah.
That's great. Should we take a moment and then
Sure.
ask Joe how he got hurt?
Let's do it.
I mean, I don't know.
There's no shame.
There's no shame.
Yeah.
The podcast has been along for this whole ride of my relationship
It
with
has
him.
been around for the whole ride.
When we met and I told you I do a podcast, was your initial thoughts?
Oh, I don't think I had initial thoughts. I just didn't realize how often you did it or when you did it and whatnot. But I don't know.
How dirty
He
it
said
would get.
he said he went home that night and Googled me on New Year's Eve though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right. We'll get into this right after this. You never think you're going to need a personal injury attorney until you do. It's not something you plan for. 1 minute you're just living your life. Next thing you know, you're dealing with an accident, an injury, missed work, and a whole lot of stress you didn't ask for. And here's the truth. Insurance companies, they've got a plan. They know exactly what they're doing. The question is, do you? That's why if it's me, I'm calling Connors and Ferris. They know the system, they know how to fight, and more importantly, they know how to take care of people when things get messy. You're not just a case file to them. They walk you through it step by step and make sure you're not getting pushed around when you're already down. So if life throws you one of those moments, don't try to figure it out alone. Call Connors and Ferris or visit connorsandferris.com with offices in New York City, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo. Because when it matters most, you want someone in your corner who actually knows how to win. Connors and Ferris. What's your first concert you're going to this summer?
Teddy Swims.
Oh, that is?
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yep. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too. I am too.
Did you see that Dermot just announced a tour?
No.
Yes. And so he's coming to Syracuse on September 26th.
Wow. Look at this.
Yay. Good times.
Well, Joe, what is your music? Are you country?
I listen to country, but I don't care necessarily. I just like being around happy people. So like the concerts with me was just the vibe of just going out, being surrounded by, thousands of people that are just enjoying the moment, being happy. So that's what draws me.
Yeah.
Other than that, music I don't really care about lyrics. If it's got a good melody or a good beat, I'll listen to it.
That's why I said on New Year's when we met and we were talking, he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to go out to live music." And I was like, "So do I. It's my favorite thing." So that's really how we started talking and planned, okay, next time Dial Up or someone good is playing, we'll go meet there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So when I'm thinking live music, I'm thinking like a concert, but you're just saying anything in a club.
Yes, I love going to concerts, but we're just talking local cover bands. You know, we go to Iron Smoke all the time, Three Heads, just anywhere out. Going and listening to live music is one of our favorite things to do, no matter who it is.
Right.
So, and I've gotten him to come to, you do like enjoy country concerts the most going to.
Yeah, I would say.
And that's why he had gone to that Wildwood Festival a couple of years before he went solo.
Wait, what? You went solo to that big festival?
Oh yeah.
How fucking fun was that?
Yeah, it was a good time. Why not? I mean, you meet people. People are there. There's theme nights and country music, drinking. I mean, it was a good time. Nobody's going to that.
See, he's my person. Like, I'm like, amazing. That is something I would have done.
Well, okay. So my question is, like, when you go to this place solo and they have theme nights, give me a theme night. And did you have to dress up? I would be so self-conscious, especially if I'm by myself.
I mean, I guess one of them that they do every year is America Day. So everybody just wears red, white, and blue and stars and stripes and stuff like that. So nothing crazy. I think one of the nights was like neon night.
Denim and Diamonds was one year that you showed me.
Yeah, that was another one.
A picture of you.
Denim and Diamonds.
Denim and Diamonds.
He's such a big guy. He gets attention.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, hey. Hey. What is, does that make you jealous?
No.
No?
No, I love it.
You love when he gets attention?
I don't get attention.
I can see you getting attention.
Laura gets the attention. I don't get the attention.
I can see you getting attention.
No,
I mean, I guess the one time at the festival, we got the video or whatever, there was some girl that was maybe trying to give me some kind of attention. She was looking at me and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm with my girlfriend here. What are you doing?
I was literally standing in front of him and this girl comes up like behind him and starts holding him and is like dancing with him and he's looking at me and I'm like, I was just like, whatever, like nothing's going to happen. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Laura has talked about everything on the podcast. See, Laura's very open.
I'm very
no
open
filter.
as well.
Yeah.
No filter.
Yeah.
No filter here.
And it's appreciated and it's noticed and people like Laura for that. And no, they do.
Some people don't like Laura for that.
Who doesn't like Laura for that? Was there a podcast?
I'm just thinking there's some people who have listened who don't like how unfiltered I am.
No, well, oh yes. Man, that took me a moment. No, because I was thinking of when we were talking about Trump the other day, somebody got very upset with something you said.
Good.
Yeah. And I had to
okay.
I didn't talk it down. I just talked around, about it because I think it's one of the biggest problems we have today.
That you can't have conversations?
Well, it was more like we're not asking the question why. We automatically draw a dividing line into you're on team red or you're on team blue. Mm-hmm. What's your jersey color instead of what's your kind of your why, your reason for that.
We talk about this all the time.
Yeah. And I think that there's I think that would open dialogue a little bit more and maybe some understanding because it's just what came up in a podcast that I did with Doug that'll drop this week is the fact that for many years, people were dropping out when I was a kid of political races because they were found to have an extramarital affair. And a lot of times that was discovered by the Inquirer, who people go, was Bigfoot and the alien landing, but they had great reporters that dug deep, man.
Yeah.
And there was Gary Hart and there was another guy, I forget his name, and they were all kind of exposed for this stuff and they disappeared. I go, now we've come so far. And look, we got Clinton, right? The White House, that whole thing, and no big deal. And now we've got somebody who was allegedly paying a porn star hush money. You know what I mean? And I go, it's come to the point where it just doesn't fucking matter anymore. Like, I feel like that just doesn't matter. And so, okay. So is it the best person for the job? Is it the policy? What does matter?
Yeah,
is kind of the thing, and we'll see as time goes on what happens with that. But it is strange. It's just strange because, well, you guys are you politically compatible?
That's one of my absolute no boundary breakers.
Yeah. Well, but I don't mean
but
that.
But Joe is very middle of the line.
Yeah.
And Joe sees things from multiple points of views. And I've told you, we've had conversations about it.
Right.
And you can speak.
Well, what
it.
I was going to say is my favorite conversation with Laura, and I say it all the time because I'm not political, but Laura's, she aligns the way she aligns. But my question to Laura always is, she has knowledge, she aligns on the left or whatnot. When you talk to somebody who aligns on the right, they're smart, they have their knowledge too. So how can you say they're totally wrong?
Right.
You can't. It has to be in the middle. And so I always say, if you're diehard left, you're a wacko. If you're diehard right, you're a wacko. The truth is in the middle.
I would agree with you. I think that we get too extremes on certain things for sure. But I just sometimes look even at the Democratic Party and I go, God, there's so many factions and fractions and people fighting.
It's disjointed.
It is very disjointed. And so that's the part that bothers me. And then I go, well, yeah, the pendulum swung to a certain way, right? And people decided they were pissed off about that. So now the pendulum swings back and then you go here's what comes out of that stuff, I think, is, I don't know if you've watched The Manosphere on Netflix.
No.
So it's about really kind of right-wing guys. There's a guy in Louisiana. It's all about their money. It's all about their stuff. And they're on YouTube and they're preaching it. And they show this one guy's like, yeah. And the wife says, we have our lanes. And I do, traditional woman. Okay. And then, but he gets to go out. And if he finds someone he can hook up, but she has to be monogamous in the relationship. And it's a weird thing to me because I go, all right, but they're all in your face. I came from nothing. I built it up, and a lot of misogyny.
Yeah,
a lot of misogyny. And the thing that I think some of that comes from the fact that we went so far to where people are pissed off about certain things. They maybe shouldn't be, but they get pissed off about declaring pronouns or whatever that is.
Yep.
And I think that's how these things start, and then they get attention. And somewhere, if we were able to keep it in the middle, you want to change your pronoun? Change your pronoun. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Right? If you're going to feel good, that's all that really matters.
Right.
But the other stuff is then it just becomes people just yelling at each other. And I'm like, there's no discussion. I like that you guys discuss stuff.
We do.
Because
to a degree.
But it's also what I have told Joe is it's not to me always just left versus right. It is, and when he says how can you be smart and be well educated and know your shit and believe this and somebody else, and I say it's because of everyone has different values and morals.
Right.
And mine are very socially aligned. I do not believe that I am better than anyone. And I think everyone deserves respect. So
me too.
That is my core belief in life. I will, whether I'm organizing a $3 million home and doing a woman's Manolo Blahniks, or if I'm working in the inner city with someone who has rodent problem, I'm going to respect these two people the exact same. And
it's called unconditional regard.
Yeah. And
it's really, really, really hard to do because it's so nice to maybe slip on a Milano Blanc when they're not looking at their red bottoms.
But other people, their priority is guns. Some people's priority is their faith. And so that is how you believe things and what is true in your regard. And I'm okay with everyone having different beliefs. I don't think that one belief is really right versus wrong, but it is, and he knows, it is to me the people who support someone who is openly misogynistic and racist. And that is where I have a hard line.
Yeah. And that's fine. And there's your why.
Yeah.
Right. There's the why that we're talking about.
Yep.
And I think that that's something that a lot of people would say is a hard pill to swallow. Would you be friends with someone like that? If you had a kid like that, would you try to correct that? I can understand that.
Yep.
Right. But that's exactly what I'm talking about.
But like, and him and I, in our conversations, we've talked about, like, obviously I support DEI, and he has been like, I have not been given promotions where he is the best candidate, but he is white.
Right.
And
that's also
like,
real
in
frustrating.
working in a rec program that is minority, or that white is the minority, it's tough.
Well, it wasn't really geared towards the rec program. It was more geared towards like law enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when DEI first came into play, you know, if I score a 90, 95 on an exam and a minority scores a 70, you know, it kind of stings a little bit that, you know, the person with the 70 is going to get looked at before the person with a 95 just because you have a quota to fill. I mean, I understand we're all about equal opportunity, but at the same time, it's, you know, what's that telling the other person? Like, I don't know.
No, I think that that's a problem that a lot of people have talked about for a while. Like, you know, who's the best person for the job? Right. Is that what we really want? And it was sort of what I think I was asking Laura, like if it was a doctor who had big,
the guns.
And he was, and he had, he was one of the best surgeons for whatever you needed in the world. People flew to. Would you go to him if you found that out? And it's interesting because I think a lot of people, we make these judgments, but is it the best person for the job? Don't you want the best person for the job, or not necessarily? And this is where DEI to me is a very slippery slope. Like it was certainly needed for many, many, many years, right? We had people that had abilities and things, and trying to lift people up and make a more equal society. And now I feel like in some instances it should almost be readjusted to where you're going more, especially with education and stuff. Why aren't we doing it more on a poverty level?
So that's the one thing I always discuss with Laura. I don't think DEI is anything about black and white anymore. I don't. If you're poor, you're poor. If you're rich, you're rich.
Right.
You know, if an African American with money commits a crime and I commit a crime, the guy with money is going to get off of the crime. At the end of the day, potentially, you know, good word there.
No, but you're right. Better lawyer, more money, more influence. Yeah.
I mean, it's similar when I had my little spiel, my little DWI. I had a lawyer. I'm in a courtroom, you know, I have my suit on, I have a lawyer, the whole 9 yards. Everybody else doesn't have a lawyer. Who's the first person they talk to? Me. I don't have to sit around. I don't have to wait because I have a lawyer.
Right.
And it's like, it's just stupid. It's all about money. That's who has and who doesn't.
Right. And my thought on that came from looking at like the Ivy League schools. I think I've said this before. Like you go back to 1968, there were 12 black people in all the Ivy League, everyone. Now, majority of students at Harvard identify as other than white. Not that that's bad. That's fine. But my point is, what about trying to expand that out? Because some people who are meeting the quota come from well-to-do families. Why aren't we also trying to make it so there's the kid in Appalachia? I mean, have we not seen a guy from Appalachia who went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize? Yeah. Or a kid in the city. I mean, there was always this thing about urban flight for a while where somehow a kid gets out of that environment and does it. Why aren't we helping that kid? Why aren't we finding those brilliant minds that are in those places and showing them, yeah, man, we noticed, we care. Let's and give them that opportunity. I don't know how that works. It's easy to sit here and say shit. That's the thing. Is like it's easy to sit here and say that shit. And I understand it, but
it's definitely a lot of money. Like just the differentials.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when we started dating, Joe, the first time he came to my house, he like felt uncomfortable because he was like, you live in what did you call them? Home
alone houses. I'm driving through the neighborhood, home alone house. Well, I grew up, you know, I didn't have a ton of money growing up, and my parents, it seems like when you're lower income people always want to talk crap about people who do have money and say they're snooty or snotty or whatnot.
Makes you feel better.
Yeah. So, I mean, you take that into consideration. That's how I was raised. And then I meet Laura, and I don't know her from anything, and I'm driving in a neighborhood. It's intimidating. It's like, I got my little ranch on the west side, and she's got this giant house on the east side, because everybody knows there's a stigma between west and east side. Everybody knows.
Yes.
There's clearly a stigma.
Yeah, there is.
There is. West Siders.
No, I get that. I can see that. Not the stigma so much, but the money thing, and then. I think one of the things that often upsets a lot of people that are white is when they hear white privilege, right? Because I've had guys say to me, well, I busted my ass to build my company. And I go, but that's not what white privilege is about. White privilege to me just means the road you got to wherever you are had less potholes. You were less likely to be pulled over. You were less likely to not be seen for a job necessarily. It's certainly, you know what I'm saying? Like it just did. And yes, to your point, Joe, the DEI in certain places, but like, if I knew a lot of times, and I've said this, and I have a diversity class that I'm part of, and I would say things like, I never felt like I didn't belong. I could walk into Oak Hill, or I could walk into a garage with a bunch of blue collar mechanics and talk cars, and I never felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. And so that's an easy thing. Then they had in one of my classes this thing where you do a privilege walk, and they ask you questions like, did you grow up in a home with where at least one parent or guardian was college educated, or and on from there. I was the first one to the candy bowl, and then somebody said there was a young black woman in the back. And somebody said, I was thinking about, and I won't say the name, I was thinking about this person and how she felt being way back there. And I thought, and so I thought, that would seem like an odd thing to say to me.
But didn't you say like, oh, I forgot she was back there?
No, I said, I'm so far up front, I couldn't see you back there. That's what I said. But my point was, and then I just recently had to do a group thing, and at the end, that sort of came up again, and that person was sitting right next to me. And I said, the one thing that I walk away from is, fuck it, we're all here. What are you going to do with it? However you got here, whatever potholes, good for you for fucking navigating more potholes, but we're all here now. What are you going to do with it? And now I think I'm going to have T-shirts when the semester ends that say, fuck it, we're here. You know what I mean? Only because I think that sometimes we start to argue for our limitations of whatever that is. And that to me is like, we got to push past it. Yes, there have been setbacks. They should be recognized. We should learn those things. We should try to make the road a little smoother for people. I get all that. But when you're here, fucking go.
That is very similar to how you think with things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't come from a great home. I tell everybody's like, oh, how did you get to where you got, Joe? By doing the opposite of my parents. My parents loved me, but like I saw all the negative things in my parents' lives, and I didn't want that for myself. So I did that. Nobody else, me. Yeah. And that's what I tell everybody. Like, Laura hates it, but I had a quote that I made up. If you stick around with your thumb up your ass, all you get is a poopy finger. If you want it, go get it. I hate it. If you want it, go get it.
I just hope you're not a thumb sucker or a nail biter.
I mean, true, yeah.
That would be the bad part. But I mean, yes, he's got a point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Laura doesn't sit on her ass.
No.
Jesus. She's like running all the time doing
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah.
I think that when he realized, like, okay, I'm not a single mom who sits at home. Like, he was like, okay, she's fine. I don't need to be someone who's home with her every night that was looking for her. I was very much like, I have a very full life, very abundant, and I'm like happy with where I'm at. So you don't need to like fulfill anything. But then it was like more that I ended up wanting to open up space for him.
And I never dated anybody with kids just because of my work schedule. And, and the fact that Laura had her kids 50% of the time, it was like, okay, I can dip my toe in, see how this works. I'm not just coming in immediately and just, being that fatherly figure stepdad role. She still has her time to go out and enjoy being, what's the slogan that you like that I said? Make kids with the wrong person.
You have kids with the wrong person to spend time, kid-free weekends, like with the right person or whatever.
Yeah. Well, speaking of kid-free, well, first of all, hang on, because I am going to transition. I have to. I have to. Yeah. But I think that this is who you are. Like, I think being with kids is truly you.
Oh no, I would agree.
Yeah, it sounds like you're very a wonderful influence on these kids, and I get it, your hours and all that stuff, but I mean, it sounds like they just adore you, and that's a great thing.
All the kids adore, like, not only at his work and not only my children. I mean, he is their favorite parent figure. Like, they talk about it all the time. Luca, they're friends. Like, we were at a Nighthawks game the other week, and Lucas's, like, two of his best friends are like, Joe! Like, you know, Lucas's friends know him more now.
This is amazing.
I mean, I was volunteering at school the other day, and Lucas walked in with his friends, and they're all like, but where's Joe? Like, everyone gravitates towards him because he interacts with the kids.
I mean, I'm still a kid. I'm never I got my ears pierced. I'm 41 years old. I act immature here and there. I know how to act serious when I am. Just got to live life, man. You got to be happy. Can't just.
Well, I agree. I often think a lot of times when, you know, like, we can all get bogged down in the humanness of our humanness, right? In a way, that doesn't sound too stupid, but you know what I'm saying, right? Our humanness.
Yeah.
And I often think, like, after a good night's sleep, I go, there's nothing serious going on here. You know, I really believe, like, you never really get it wrong and you never get it done. And if you get it done, it means you're dead. So, you know, and the other thing, I just said it to somebody the other day. They go, well, you know, you only live once. And I said, true, but I say you only die once. Get to living.
Yeah.
You know, get to living, because you only die once. And that's the part that I think is sometimes lost, you know. But it's taken me to this ripe old age of where I am to see life that way. That's the bad part. I go, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of runway.
You gotta.
What the hell's going on?
I joke that I like to be on a plane every other month. Like, I want to be going somewhere. I want to be doing something. Yeah. And now we get to do it together, and it's so much fun.
Yeah. And now that the kids are gone, you guys must have, they're gone this week, right?
Yeah.
For the whole week?
The whole week.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll miss them, but.
Will you? I mean, I
miss them whenever I'm out with them.
Of course.
But we get to have fun.
Yeah. Somebody looks like they went like around.
Couple rounds.
Yeah, you know.
I know. I got Joe good.
I'm trying to think of like a rabbit puncher, you know, like Manny Pacquiao. Rabbit puncher. Pop, 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 pop.
Joe, what happened?
I fell. Just like every domestic.
Yes. That is.
How'd you fall?
That is true.
I fell.
His eye, he came in here, and he can't really see it. Because of the way our lighting is now, which is great. But he came in, and I knew he was playing basketball today, and I thought he got an elbow in the eye. I'm like, damn. Only because around the orbit of your eye is fragile, and it could break. And it almost looked like, he's like, oh, you can see this? And I'm like, see it. It looks like you're in a fucking glam band from the 80s.
Yeah,
you got eyeliner
it's purple.
on. It's purple.
It is purple and
it's
blue,
like I'm waiting for you to start singing round and round, you know, like with a rat or something. I'm like, what is going on? And then I don't know what.
Someone may have hit his head on the headboard last night.
Oh.
Well. Well, while we were finishing.
Oh, man. Lost his footing and just went. Wow.
We were a little too high up on the bed. When he came down, it was just thunk, like.
Damn.
Full weight, right on. And then we had to go to a dinner party.
After? Wait, this was an early round?
Yeah, it was an early round. We were going to go eat. I didn't want to be all full of food and everything. Like, let's get it done 3 PM. I had just gotten home from work, took a shower. I literally texted him, like, while I was at work. I was like, meet me in bed at 4:00.
Oh, Joe.
And so he showed up to the dinner party, and people are like, what happened?
I mean, what else you guys want me to say? I guess we go in a little. Do I go into the details?
No, you don't have to go into the details. It's up to you. Laura wants you to. Laura would find it all hot.
I mean,
no,
I'm so used to this. So.
Laura would like to know if I'm the only person. So I guess.
Oh, okay.
We can throw
we'll
this
put it out
Maybe
there.
your listeners will respond to this.
Okay.
This is great.
As a male, when I orgasm, I have very intense orgasms. I hold on to them to the point where I can't. And when I release in a good term. My body tingles.
It's like you have a seizure.
I like lose coordination. And I was having a good time last night.
Like he falls.
Yeah.
You know, usually I brace myself or whatnot. I didn't brace myself yesterday.
Yeah.
I just took a tumble.
No, I could, or do you convulse a little bit too? Like,
Yeah.
A little bit.
yeah.
Hey, so I'm not feeling
Shakes
guy.
and falls.
Laura tells all her
He
damn.
like shakes and falls. So normally when we finish, I have to be on top so he doesn't fall, or else he'll fall on top of me.
Oh.
And I mean, that happens too, but that's what was going on last night. But he was just, I guess we were higher on the bed.
Further up. It's just,
Dude, I'm sorry.
Long
It just looks painful. That's all. It looks painful.
it really doesn't hurt. It was more funny and embarrassing because it was literally like at the same time I finished, I whacked my head, and it was just she's like, "What's wrong?" She's over there, you know, enjoying in bliss, and I got my hand on my fucking head.
She's
like,
a high pro glow over there. She's all happy.
She looks over and she's like, "Oh my God, I got a knot on your head like the size of this microphone."
There's a video. One of my friends took the video at the dinner party last night because there was like 6 different couples, and she had us all doing this game where we had to put a cucumber on our head and try to get it into our mouth. And everyone's like, and then you just see Joe have an ice pack on his eye.
Poor Joe.
It's all good.
That's all right.
I was
all
like,
right.
hey, you know, we had a little Saturday fun day. So
Yes.
what's wrong about that?
Absolutely nothing.
No.
Nothing.
No.
It's just that it's an interesting black eye, and it's the
I think
best.
it's
It's the best black eye story I've ever heard.
I fell.
No, but I mean go with that. But I mean, when you get into the details, that's a great reason to get a black eye. I mean, I'm like, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what you need to do is you need to buy one of those pool noodles, cut it in half, and just put it over the edge of the pool.
I know, but it's happened like where like if we're standing or anything towards the end, we always have to plan it out because you can't just drop.
It's like an elephant getting hit with a tranquilizer. It's just that's what it is. I mean, I'm not.
Oh God, that's phenomenal, Joe. That's the best. That's the best. I've enjoyed the conversation overall. We saved this for the last, but really, man, insightful. I think I see the big heart you're talking about, and what a wonderful thing you're doing, and I hope you find something that fulfills all that for you. You know, I really do. That gives you all that. And I love the fact that he's saying, you know, I haven't had a family, so now I'm retired from getting screamed at by overzealous dads on the sideline.
Well, we've said it. Maybe he'll go back down to roughing high school eventually. So
yeah. Well, when the boys are right, if they yeah. Well, whatever. I don't.
Right now, he just gets to wear that pinstripe suit around me.
Oh, really? Flagging the play. Yeah. 7 minutes for roughing. 7 inches for roughing. I don't know. All right. For Joe, the man. For Laura, I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you next time.
Fire!